Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to yet another webinar of Les Roches Global Hospitality Education. For those that don't know me, my name is Marius Garella. I'm the head of marketing at Les Roches, and we've put together these webinars for you to get to know a little bit better about Les Roches, about the programs we offer, have discussions around the hospitality industry, its future, and many more topics. First of all, I hope you're safe and sound wherever you are in the world, that the lockdowns are slowly opening up, and I hope you'll be soon enjoying fresh air as we are doing already here in Switzerland, where things are really opened up. Uh, just an anecdote, yesterday I went for the first time out to the restaurant in 2-3 months. All restaurants and bars are getting full. It's great to see life again starting, especially in the hospitality industry. We are going to talk you today through about the MBA, our flagship, really program we are proud of. First of all, you're all muted, but you can all ask questions. You can just you should see a chat or a questions box, well, according to how you're connecting. So feel free to keep interactive. We want to keep this very, very open and interactive forum for all of you to ask questions about our MBA program. Today with me, we have Dr. Dimitrios Diamantis, our Dean of Graduate Studies and Professor of the MBA program. Is gonna maybe let's keep it open. Dr. Dimitrios, you want already to introduce yourself, so we change a little bit the voice.
Well, thank you, Mario. And it's actually a great pleasure to be able to really to spend quality time with a group that we can be able to really to share a little bit about our experiences in terms of graduate studies, but most importantly, really the MBA program here today. I'm Dr. Dimitrios Diamantis, originally born in Greece, but lived abroad now for my last 30 years. So I have studied and worked in the UK up to a PhD level, then came to Les Roches almost 21 years ago the first time, which I have stayed actually until 2007, and then left again back to the university in the UK called Sefi Hallam, and then returned at Les Roches in the year 2010. I have developed the MBA program together with a team of people in the year 2003, the first time. So I pretty much know all the history of the program for the past kind of 17 years. And what is the aim really of the webinar today is to be able to really to share that experience, but most importantly, why that experience has helped us a lot to shape up the program in terms of its quality as we're moving over the years. That's an important element. Today, actually, I'm sharing the platform and the podium with Ms. Rao, that is a class delegate, but at the same time, an amazing lady that she comes from a lot of years of the industry experience. And it's over to you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for that very nice introduction, Dr. D. For those of you who don't know, Dr. D is Dr. D for us because that's just our nickname for him. So that just shows you like how informal and what an open environment we are at here in Les Roches. My name is Sandhya, and I'm from the United States. I've spent the last decade or so living in New York, and I've been working in catering sales for about 5 years. And during my process of working there, you reach a point in your management level where you just feel like you need more. And sometimes it's just not easy for promotions to just come easy because they come with experience, they come with an education, and you need to add some amount of value to your resume, if you will. So I started looking into hospitality schools. Les Roches was my top choice. And here I am. I'm currently in my second semester of my MBA, graduating in October this year. And I completed my first semester last year, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about the program.
Thank you so very much. Thank you a lot. And I remember actually the time that you and I, like today, we have spoken for the first time over a camera. You were actually in New York, and we have spent actually quality time as well exploring the dynamics of the program. And it reminds me a little bit today, like that period, right? So time indeed flies. So thank you, Ms. Rao, of airing this one, and I'm sure we'll spend a lot of time really during this hour to be able really to explore further. So now, Mario, I think it's the time to ask the audience, as they say in any game.
Exactly.
We like to know a little bit about your background. First of all, we like to ask you, are you a current student? Are you a young professional? Are you an experienced professional? Are you a business owner? Or are you a future entrepreneur? So over to you guys.
Yes, you should all have up on your screen a little poll where you can click on one of the correct answer, just so we get to know each other a little better. Five, four, three, two, one. Let's close the poll and see the results.
Excellent.
Okay, mostly young professionals. Dr. D, I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, excellent. So thank you first of all, the students of attending, and we can be able really to showcase you the qualification today in terms of young professionals, experienced professionals. The word of experience is really very valuable asset, especially to the MBA program. In business, as a business owner, I hope it goes fine and well during these difficult times. And as a future entrepreneur, we don't have any, but let's hope that the program and its specializations can be able really to inspire you and see why we put it really entrepreneurship as a part of the specializations of the MBA. Now, the first question really starts, why an MBA in hospitality management? And this is a very of what we call a classic question that we always like to ask. And we ask this one as a matter of teasing really the audience and as a way for us to reflect. Now, over the last kind of 20 or 30 years, in my case, that I first wanted to study hotel management, it was always the case of a classic question, do we need really a qualification in hotel management? And the answer, even that time, I mean, 30 years ago, when I done my first degree, it was very much so because it's one of the dynamic businesses. That's the classic answer. But actually, most importantly, it's an important aspect of tourism and hospitality. It's an important aspect of the economy of any country. So we are talking about the gross domestic products, GDP values, and we are also talking about that tourism and hospitality, by and large, represents a jack amount of percentage of an economy of any place. Like any industry, it needs its professional people to work in that industry to make it happen, but also to grow the industry. So by having actually an academic qualification and an MBA in particular in hospitality management, that allows you really to be part of this kind of thinking of experiential learning, but most and equally to be able really to add value not only to your employers or to future employers, but equally to yourselves in terms of joining an industry and understanding its dynamics. Now, how exactly do we see this MBA qualification? How exactly actually do we organize it? The ultimate aim, what we try to do as a program, is really to try to capitalize on a forward-looking people, that individuals that they like to do an MBA, study an MBA, so they can be able to invest into their future and looking ahead. We're adding a key word in the MBA program that's actually global. So other in the classroom that we have on average about 25 nationalities in the MBA on average. Other through the study trips that we adding into the program, other actually through the projects of applied nature that we do, other because of the international faculty that we have in the program, that allows the openness of the mind to different ways of thinking over certain practices of the hospitality industry. And that ultimately is the major really beneficiary of this is really the students, that they will absorb actually this experience and they will implement this experience in the industry that they choose to go. So for our MBA program, we have started in the year 2003. So over the years, we have the accreditation of the program, that is the North England Commission of Higher Education, in other words, known as NICE, and this is based in the USA. And as a result of that, we have, it's one of the oldest accreditations in the world, And we are very fortunately that we have actually this quality seal of approval in our MBA program. And therefore, we have 39 American credits with 2 intakes per year, traditionally in February and September. But for the COVID-19 situation, our next intake is going to be in October 2020, I mean, in a couple of months' time. The other major highlight in the program is the new upcoming specializations. So currently, over the years, the program has changed its format to reflect 2 factors. One is the changes in the hospitality, tourism, and experiential economy. And the number 2 is the changes in demographics as far as actually our student population and their aspirations. So over the years, we have done actually different formats depending on those 2 factors. So in the year 2017, we updated the MBA from its former structure that it was based on specializations, marketing, and finance. In 2017, we introduced elective choices to the MBA that we ran it until 2020, late 2020. And as a part of its now next phase and next update is to reintroduce specializations, but to go a little bit further because again of these 2 factors, that is the changes in the industry and also the changes in the student population, aspirations, attitudes, and so on. So as a result of that, we're introducing 2 specializations. That one is advanced revenue and performance management that I will be explaining. And the second specialization over the second semester now is also on the area of the hospitality entrepreneurship and business development. So how we're inspiring people to become entrepreneurs, either in the industry that they will join or other entrepreneurship in the very kind of classic format in terms of innovation and startup and develop a new project. So that's from my side from now. So I will go in the next kind of 5 minutes. I will take you step by step on the program structure, and I will be trying really to give you a time to absorb it, and at the same time we'll pass to Ms. Rao so she can be able also to add her voice and her experience during the MBA program right now. So I will be going step by step. First of all, I will be starting by explaining the word here, HIP, a Hospitality Immersion Program. So 2 weeks before the start of the MBA, for those students that they don't have a hospitality experience or their hospitality experience is limited, we're asking them to join a course of hospitality practice. So we're asking them to come 2 weeks prior of the start of the MBA studies in order for them to expose themselves to the industry dynamics. So they will be spending 1 week in F&B outlets. That is actually the service environments of restaurants, as well as actually our kitchen units, so they can be able really to improve their skills and understanding of those operations. And the second week, we're teaching them classic models of hospitality management, and that will go really to set the tone of the sector of that particular semester. And subsequently, we're going really to analyze the different departments of the hotel operation. We always like to put a highlight over the second week. We're staying in a part of Switzerland that we have a wonderful vineyards and wine producers. So we take really the students for a wine excursion, and they try really to improve their oenology skill, their appetite, as well as their palate for wine, so they can be able really to understand a little bit the concept of beverage in general. So that's actually the Hospitality Immersion Program. It's a sort of a mini foundation course of introducing them terminology and understanding and experience of the hospitality sector. Now, once this is done, then the HIP students, they can come to the first semester of the MBA. And at the same time, other students with previous experiences of the hospitality, they come in really directly to start the MBA first semester. So the MBA first semester has 19 credits, and the MBA, the second semester, has 20 credits. So in total, 39. Now, during the first semester, we try really to put, or if you like, we try to develop a very, very solid platform, a foundation on a couple of key kind of aims that we try to achieve. The number one is to improve the leadership skills of the students, and we're doing that by having courses like personal development and leadership skills, as well as actually courses on human resourcing, talent management, and processes, as well as actually a course on managing complex organizations, and most importantly, change management. So improving the leadership skills of the students, or the word leadership, is one of the key aims. Leadership to you as a person, leadership that you will bring to the organization. So that's why change management and understanding complex organizations, and leadership of managing teams. Okay, so three actually characteristics of this leadership structure. So this is actually one aim. The second is to be able to really, as a business administration qualification, to be able to educate students about classic business subjects, such as financial management, revenue management, super important in the hospitality, strategic marketing and sales, again, super important with the hospitality, and consumer behavior. So we want to really to build actually these classic subjects around understanding of the consumers and improving the business, if you like, attitudes of students. And so that's the second category. And the third is really inspire, okay? And in other words, we see a lot of students coming to our programs over the years that they need extra motivation, extra push in order really for them to fly. And as a result of that, either because of, I don't like to say lack of confidence, but hesitant of making decisions, so we want them really to showcase them an understanding of the industry. And as a result of that, we added the study trip, and the first semester study trip is really in the city of Shanghai in China. And we take the students for around 9 days to different properties. It varies anything, I mean, on average, 8 to 10 properties that we're going to explore on a week time. And we take the students to the case study. So in other words, they are learning from different brands that they are actually Asian based, but also a lot of European brands that they are also operating in the city of Shanghai. So the third now element in terms of improving the soft skills of the students, try to inspire the students, understanding their potential. That's one of the key elements of what the program actually likes to achieve. This is actually super important to us. So that's actually from my side over the first semester of the MBA. So to summarize, the leadership, classic business concepts, and ultimately soft skills and motivation of students to succeed in life in general. So that's actually the third element. So I will pass it over to Ms. Rao so she can be able to reflect a little bit about A, the study trip in Shanghai, because we have done it last semester, last December, and B, your overall experience, and C, anything else that you'd like to share.
Thank you, Dr. D, for that. I'll start off again with Shanghai, because that's the first thing you mentioned. I think it was a highlight of our first trip. One of the reasons that I'd actually picked Les Roches as my top school is that the business trips were a part of the program. The first being in Shanghai, the second in Chicago. And even though I'm from America, I've actually never been to Chicago, and Shanghai was also another place that I haven't been to. And if it weren't for the study trip, I don't think I would have ever taken that trip to China. So it was definitely a big highlight for me. We spent, I believe, 8 days in China, visited an average of about 2 hotels per day. And what I enjoyed most about the trip was that you get to see the different styles. Like hospitality is probably not what it was 10 years ago, where you have a doorman opening the door for you and everything is just very buttoned up. And now you get to see all these different styles. So I was able to compare how different the culture in Asia is compared to America, which was something that was very different for me to see. Because again, hospitality is not the same worldwide, but you get to see a little bit of the nuances and things that are the same. And then the second, as I mentioned, we visited about 2 hotels every day. And it was really nice the way it was planned out, because all the hotels were drastically different. So like if we visited like the Peninsula, which is more of a traditional classic property during the day, in the evening we visited like a Hotel Indigo, which is just very you know, it's very trendy, and like you'll see the general manager in jeans and talking to his clients saying, hi George, how are you, versus there's no madam, I'm sorry there. So it gives you an idea as to, you know, what kind of style you appreciate more, and gives you some time to kind of reflect about what you want to do in your life when you move on. For example, like I never thought before coming to Les Roches that a place where, you know, you could wear jeans to work in a hotel and you could address your clients like that was something that was possible, or is something that I wanted. But now it's kind of opened up my mindset and perspective to the professional in general. So that was basically about our Shanghai trip. Another thing, as Dr. D mentioned, is again, we have a lot of different nationalities, and I think that is the biggest forte that we have here at Les Roches. Yes, I come from a cosmopolitan city, it is New York, but at the same time, I've adapted to a very American lifestyle. And to be able to be in a classroom with people from so many different places, whether they're from Africa or whether they're from India, you see how different their mindsets are. You don't think the same way as anyone. So it's up to you to kind of take that all in and understand why someone is saying what they're saying. So when we're in group projects together, again, we're like in a very diverse group, and you get like these opinions from everyone, and you try to understand, and like before you know it, by the end of the first semester, what I thought or what I didn't agree with amongst most people was basically something that I moved on to appreciate and incorporate into other projects as well. And then in terms of the subjects, again, the MBA one really sets that core and basis for you in terms of subjects, whether it's like marketing, whether it's leadership, and then finance and revenue, again, were two subjects that I really chose an MBA program for, because I've been in sales and we look at numbers and we create sales reports, but it's really important to understand sometimes those revenues are coming from someone else, which is a revenue management team. And just to understand their mindset and how they're coming up with these numbers is going to be, I think, something that's very useful for me moving forward. And also digital marketing. That's another thing. I think when you are first in hospitality, you like, at least my experience was, it's just very suit and tie and it's button up. And there are now all these different things that you can do with the profession. And it gives you kind of an idea as if you don't keep up with technology or what other industries are doing, how it really leaves you behind in that competitive set. It's almost like that opportunity cost as to what are you losing without knowing or having this knowledge. So I think my first semester has really been a nice base for what's coming into the second semester. And I can give you a little bit of a highlight of this semester after Dr. D kind of explains it to you.
Oh, thank you so very much. Thank you. I think, Mari, over to you to be able to really to ask a little bit our attendees, so they can be able to really to tell us over their second question before we are going to move into the other part of the MBA.
Yes, let's put up another poll. It's about what skills do you think you're missing in order to be successful in your professional life? And if you don't mind, while people take a moment to vote, can I already, we already started receiving a lot of questions. If you agree, we take a couple.
Of course, you go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah, it's very interactive, it's very fluid, so we can, yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. So one student has asked, I think interested in our MBA, they've asked us, I'm trying to see his name, sorry. Yeah, Subradip has asked, what's the difference, according to you, between a typical MBA, a traditional generic MBA, and an MBA in hospitality?
Yeah, there are a couple of differences. I mean, first of all, graduate studies in general, they change different shapes and sizes, as well as different focuses, depending on various factors. First of all, the history of schools and standing of their ranking. Secondly, what the reputation of those schools are. And thirdly, of what we want to do with these qualifications. That means actually now the schools. So MBA, I mean, we are a very traditional hotel school as far as its history. So we are being in existence for the late 70s as far as hospitality management, and as a school really from the late 1950s. So as a result of that, we have roughly about 60 years of experience in the industry, and the industry actually does know us. So if I may say, we also been working very close to the growth of the industry over the last now 40 years. Now, so for us, we are very kind of confident that MBA in hospitality management and understanding what is hospitality is not only hotels, but it's all the sector of experiential economy. So anything for airlines, tour operators, distribution channels, global distribution systems, etc., etc. So it's not just classic hotels. Now, but by the word classic hotels, as the study trip in Shanghai has indicated, is not only the model that a lot of people believe, but going to places to surprise them. Say, for example, a fashion brand like Bulgari, Giorgio Armani, they're investing a lot in the hospitality business. So for us, we are very confident that the MBA in hospitality management, we have the knowledge and expertise over the years, over our history, plus faculty expertise, plus research, that we can be able really to showcase that. Now, a classic MBA also brings you that, but the classic MBA approaches the whole field of the business sector, and then through its format, the students, they specialize on something. Either they specialize in an academic dissertation, or they specialize really in a type of elective choices, or in the type of specializations. For us, because of our ranking, because of our reputation in the industry, and also the success of a lot of MBA alumni over the last kind of 17 years, we are very, very confident that we are achieving the notion of an all-around the Masters of Business Administration. Perfect. So for us, it's not really, it is something that we have to do because of our history, because of our DNA.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Let me share the results of the poll. Well, yeah, Doctor, you wanna comment?
Yeah, excellent. I mean, thank you, guys. I mean, this is a very, very kind of personal kind of question, and thank you also for answering it. Operational skills, very, very, very significant. Managerial and multicultural at the same time. Leadership skills, financial and digital. And the reason really that we asked this question is because through our program, when we're looking at practical applications, either through the hospitality immersion program, working in group projects, participating in competitions that I will explain, the leadership that I was referring to over the first semester, financial as well, the digitalizations, those are actually very, very important skills as you're looking to enter into the industry after the qualification. Fundamentally, however, is also how exactly do you perceive those skills, and that's why the study trips and visiting professors, they're adding actually their voice around these particular areas. So if we are looking of what we try to achieve over the second semester of the MBA is really trying out to be able to take it to the next level, right? So over the first semester, we had the platform in terms of the three elements, that is the leadership, classic business concept, and also the study trip inspirations. And the second semester is all about this corporate mentality, to be able really now to understand corporations and understand the world of corporate office, and at the same time, understanding how you're managing global brands. So that's why the MBA actually now tries to flourish here. So you're starting with the core subjects of the MBA that they are applicable to all the students. That is the business strategy, corporate finance, as Ms. Rao actually said, data analysis. So we go actually to nitty-gritty, understanding the world of data, statistics, calculations, very, very important. The more digital we all are, the more we need to rely on this data to make decisions. And the more we understand the world of statistical formulas, probabilities, correlations, the more we can be able really to predict a little bit better how consumers make decisions. So that's actually the sort of data analytics, but we are sort of, hopefully we approach it in a very friendly way, because data analysis can be quite brutal to those areas that they're sort of mentally, they are sort of, they are not comfortable with this area. And then the sustainability and the corporate social responsibility, an important element really in the corporations of the 21st century and strategic decisions. So the four actually concepts now, the four subjects of the first semester, give you again the direction, and then we're asking the students to choose one or another specialization. So the first choice is the combination, or is the interesting combination between real estate, performance management, asset management, with the word of revenue. So we call it advanced revenue management, and you're exploring really hotel advanced revenue management, but with a little bit of emphasis in food and beverage revenue management. And then the next two subjects, they actually open up the world of what is a real estate asset. So you need to value your asset and understand its performance, and ultimately you need to understand a little bit better the contract negotiation. So the first three subjects, if you like, on the specialization, try to cover revenue and also revenue management, but with an emphasis in FFMB, and ultimately go ahead and try actually to understand the world of real estate and asset. And we're wrapping actually this specialization up with a real life applied research project that I will ask Ms. Rao also to share her experience with the Accord project that her group is doing this semester. And this type of real life project is all about with a brand of hospitality or with a brand of experiential economy over the years, and really try to apply the concepts that they have learned through a real life research project. So that's the first specialization. Or the second specialization, that is all about really creativity and innovation and family business, the design thinking, and ultimately try to explore the ideas of fundraising. Do we do it through the classic models? Do we do it through stakeholders? Do we do actually through crowdfunding, etc., etc.? So we explore really this kind of domains on how an entrepreneur may come up with an idea, what is the business model that they're going to implement, how exactly the financial life cycle is going to be, the lifespan of this project, etc., etc. And then at last but not least, also with a real life project that is suitable to this specialization. So again, with entrepreneurship on mind, fundraising, and so on. Now, and ultimately the same kind of objective as the first semester of the MBA is really, okay, how do we showcase now corporate in the study trip? How we keep inspiring students to succeed, okay? So that's why actually the study trip in Chicago is coming into play. The flavor of this trip is all about really corporate mentality. In the city of Chicago, we are lucky that we have a lot of kind of head offices. So Hyatt, for example, have their head office in the city of Chicago. Hilton family, although not the head office, but regional head office over there. The McCormick Place, the largest conference center of North America, is based also in the city of Chicago. And we have started the study trip in Chicago in the year 2015. So over the last kind of 5 years, we are very fortunately that we have a lot of good kind of communication with the industry, and we can be able together with our industry friends to be able really to put a flavor into the study trip that really raises the bar in terms of the corporate. And you can, I think it's okay. I think they see me. And on the study trip, you can see actually we have the two study trips under the YouTube, on the YouTube channel. If you're going to put Les Roches MBA Chicago or Les Roches MBA Shanghai, you will see two videos on two respective study trips that it talks a little bit about our experiences and what we have done over there. So on this clip about Chicago, you will see that we've gone there to the Hilton Chicago. This is actually the GM talking to the group, Mr. John Wells, that he's been actually in the Hilton family for about actually 10 years plus. And the founder of the Hilton hotels started his empire in the Hilton Chicago, and we go actually to his original 1940s, late 1940s office that John actually takes the students around and go through the history of the brand and try to understand why the brand actually has the properties that it has of what do they try really to achieve with their diverse portfolio from airport hotels to others. And the similar actually we are doing at the booking.com, that they have a corporate office over there, and we're spending actually an afternoon at the booking with the team and discuss really revenue models and how the city of Chicago, the state itself, reflects really in the areas of revenue management. So the study trip of the second semester is a bit more corporate in tone, where the study trip of the first semester in the city of Shanghai is a little bit more operational in tone and tries really to understand the brand and the operational aspects of this kind of branding. So those are actually the two kind of characteristics and the two kind of semesters. So like before, Ms. Rao is almost to complete now that part of her semester. So over to you. You can reflect a little bit about your experience, first of all, and secondly, the Accor applied research project that your group has been doing this semester.
Thank you, Dr. D. So coming to this semester, basically we've had the similar subjects that are listed on this slide. And a lot of them, like data analytics, I can confirm actually, Dr. D, that is quite friendly and it's not scary for us at all. And I think our teacher also makes a huge difference to it. You know, you try to give more examples rather than make it a completely software-based thing so that the numbers don't look as scary. Because yes, I'm someone who's terrified of numbers, but I'm doing just fine. So I think everyone else should be able to. And then same with corporate finance. I think what we started with the first semester of a basis of finance and looking at financial statements kind of goes into diving in about looking at a company internally versus just the statements as such. And I think this subject is so important because it doesn't just help you in finance itself, but in other subjects as well. And like, I think it's more in MBA 2 than MBA 1, where we're starting to see the link between all the subjects as well. Because as I said, the first semester is mostly like a setting ground for everything. And in the second semester, you'll see how everything in finance, for example, is related again to our consultancy project, for example. So as Dr. D mentioned, I'm currently working on a consultancy project with Accor. Our class is divided into two, and my project is with Accor, and then there's another group of people who are working with Irene Forte's skincare. So both our projects are different, and we also talk to each other to kind of see how different our projects are as well. But the project we're working on is basically, again, we're proposing a feasibility of a hotel for Accor, which is again very interesting because it ties into the hotel valuation and any kind of asset management classes that are listed under the revenue management specialization, for example. So if this is something that's of interest to you, it all just it works really well because it makes you see how do you look at feasibility of land, like how do you decide which location you want to propose a hotel in, for example. Another thing that I found very interesting with this project is it's when we say it's a real life consultancy project, it really is. We didn't just come into it and say to Accor that we're trying to propose a hotel with this idea to you. We're actually working off on a baseline that the previous semester left us. So the school has been working with Accor, I think for Dr. D, you can correct me, but about 2 years now on this. And every semester has moved on and made some kind of progress because obviously 6 months is a really short span to tell someone to build a hotel. It's time in this process. So the previous semester kind of proposed an idea to them, and then Accor has asked us in this semester to kind of give more feasibility as to where we can propose the hotel and the location. And I'm sure the next semester, which will be, you guys will go into deeper experiences, whether it's the food and beverage that needs to be served in the hotel or not. So similar to real life, again, it's in a perfect world, you can come up with an idea, you can think it's brilliant and you can just propose it to someone. But in real life, you're often working off projects that someone else has left off you, and to a client, you're expressing to them why you think this is a good idea without just telling them that, no, this is not the idea we should follow, we should do something completely different. So I think that's something that's also very challenging and interesting for us from that point of view. And
Dr. D, I need to, sorry.
Yeah, Mario.
Sorry, let me take a couple of questions. We are having a lot coming through. One, it's about from Gemma. Gemma is studying, sorry, it's already a director at a consumer products company and is interested in MBA to switch to career or to hospitality because she's already quite senior. So she's asking the level of the student body. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, it's, I mean, as well as the classic, actually, by level is actually, I mean, it's a not very open kind of term. Level in terms of creative thinking, quite strong. Level in terms of understanding and participation and also engaging, quite strong. Understanding deadlines, that's always a little bit challenging, all right? In any kind of multicultural cohort, in any kind of cohort, it's all about our job really to make sure that the students, they achieve that. And ultimately, I think historically, we have been kind of lucky over the last kind of 17 years with our MBA that we built it actually the program year in, year out. So ultimately, experience actually comes from the faculty, from our industry connections, et cetera, and now the study trips. And that actually also is about actually showcase those to the students. Now, it's important really to remember is that everyone in the, I mean, we have a student in the MBA program that has actually about 25 years experience currently as we speak, and a student in the program that she has about 3 years of experience. Now, on the other hand, you know, there is always like a team of people. You will try really to achieve certain outcomes, other course learning outcomes, or other certain projects. In this case, a core is actually with a corporate office in Paris. Irene Forte is actually the daughter of the Forte family. Rocco Forte is her dad, that they own actually boutique hotels. So ultimately, we take the projects to really try to a super corporate level. We also done something at Peninsula in New York, the head office over there, New York Times over the years. So for the past 8 years, we try really to have a type of projects that all these experiences, 20 years of experience, 3 years of experience, they are showcased in the area. So ultimately, the program is quite kind of rigorous on that form. And I think the students, they try to really to adapt into that. So there's not a lot of loose ends as far as actually the program structure. And
Great.
as a result of that, it is, yeah.
No, sorry, please complete. I didn't want
No, it's okay. I think, and that's why I think we try to achieve really a good level in terms of what happens in the classroom. Yeah.
Yeah, I think to respond to Gemma and reassure her, there's a lot of levels in the school, very senior people with a lot of experience that just need an MBA. There's also people that are fresh graduates, and the course is very there are small classes, right? I think the class is Sandhya, how big is your class at the moment? What?
So the entire MBA class is 40 people, but like you mentioned, Mario, we split up into 2 different groups. So we have MBA 2A and 2B, and now we're 20 people in each group just to make sure that there's
so with so with 20 people in the class, you really can modulate the content according to the level of the students, and that's a great level of personalization, I think. While I put the video of the background of Shanghai, Sandhya, a question for you from Samant is asking, just to recall your Shanghai experience and a bit of the brands. What brands, what property did you meet in Shanghai? Just list if you can.
Of course, we stayed at the Kempinski Hotel in Shanghai, and that was our first property. We were there for 8 days, so I think that's the one that comes up first. And then we also visited the Mandarin Oriental, Hotel Indigo, the Peninsula, and then we visited the Sukhothai, which is part of the Swire Group. And let's see, what else did we visit, Dr. D? I'm missing 2 hotels.
Yeah, we visited actually, first of all, the Middle House and the Sukhothai. So
the middle house,
yeah,
right, yes.
The Middle House and the Sukhothai, they are part actually of a Hong Kong investment kind of group. Guangdong is the 7-star hotel in Shanghai. It's the only 7-star hotel in Shanghai. It's privately, actually, independently Chinese run. Is the top luxury kind of hotel. Peninsula, of course, and pretty much that's it. Yeah.
Oh, Shangri-La, yes, just remembered. We visited one of the Shangri-La properties.
Thank you very much. A big variety. And Dr. D,
So
we have
if
two
you are interested
students.
about actually the specifics in terms of brand by brand, just to explain, we are working actually over the semester with depending of what is the background of the students and what exactly we want to achieve with different brands. So I have on my portfolio about 30 brands in Shanghai that I can be able really to access. A year ago, I go into intercontinental hotels, to the Four Seasons that now actually is closed, it's been sold off, and ultimately to a subsidiary of Alibaba, to the course Bees actually. This is actually on the video, you will see one of my ex-students 22 years ago, successful entrepreneur right now in Shanghai. So my answer is that depending on what is the background of the students, depending on what are the gaps in their skill set and what exactly we want the students to be inspired about, that's how we put study trips together. So we don't put study trips or just throw the name of the hat. We are actually putting a study trip together based on what exactly, as I mentioned previously, of what exactly we want to inspire the students about. Is there inspiration about operation? Is there inspiration about understanding Chinese hospitality? Is there inspiration about understanding how Intercontinental Hotels is one of the oldest hotels, a hotel brand in China? The first time Intercontinental went to China was actually in 1970s. So of what happens over there. So ultimately, there is a lot of kind of thought process behind the study trip, and ultimately depends who are the students, what are their skill sets, what exactly do we want to inspire them about, etc., etc., etc. And then we put a study trip together that we try really to achieve each learning outcomes.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
We have, Dr. D, we have 3 students, Alejandro, Marina, and Rafael, interested in the PGD plus MBA top-up fast-track option, let's say. So could you summarize, first of all, Alejandro is asking how much experience should he have in order to do the PGD and then the MBA? What's the difference, you think, the advantage of this double program, and how can they apply?
Yeah, we can take them actually as a separate item to a separate discussion. The only thing I can say right now is that for the PGD students that we aiming to have limited experience when they are entering to come to the PGD academic semester, and then they're doing actually an internship. So we value the internship not only as a working experience, but really as a personal reflection. And ultimately, the criteria, the admission criteria to the MBA stay exactly the same. That is it's an age of 23. So ultimately, the PGD students, they need to reach that particular age in order to enter into the second semester of the MBA. But those specific questions about the PGD and to also be considered to the wider audience, I think please feel free to reach me out on my LinkedIn, or Mario can forward my email, and then we can arrange actually a separate kind of Zoom call or Microsoft Teams or Skype. I'm more than happy to go step by step in everything.
Great, and it's great to see, we take a personalized approach to this, and then it's great to see Rafael, he finished the PGD with us in June 2019, and he wants to come back for an MBA, so definitely looking forward to have you back on campus. One last question is linked to the next chapter, so maybe you can use it to introduce. Is really about how does Les Roches support placement opportunities? What do you think is the return of investment of this program? So maybe answering this, you can move on to the after
Yeah, absolutely.
graduate.
I can do that. And the guy actually that you see on the slide, I'm going actually as a previous MBA student. I'm going to share with him a webinar on Monday about something else. And really, that's really the outcome of the experience. So MBA it's a close-knit community that even after the graduation or the graduating students, we are still connected. We see them as working professionals. We are there to mentor them. We are there to support our alumni MBA community and really to be next to them over their career journey. And you can see a lot of different kinds of activities that that they exactly actually of what we try really to achieve. So let's try to share actually step by step over here. So during the year that we have the MBA, at the same time, we have actually a lot of other different activities for employment and career. So from the LinkedIn, CV writing, career counseling via our CDIP team, training about Skype and online interview, career days, online platform that we call it Simplicity, and a lot of kind of ad hoc and very specialized workshops that we try really to raise up a different kind of understanding. So last semester, say for example, we had some people from the corporate offices of Accor, for instance, Intercontinental, that they were coming and they added their expertise voice in a topic area. So those kind of the jobs of the future is really this kind of terminology on trends that we bring actually an expert from the industry that really tries to inspire students about thinking about a different direction. So if you're looking why we say or why we speak in the way we do, and if you're looking actually a next kind of slide, we have a lot of kind of success stories over the years. And as if you remember, we said earlier on that we started the MBA in the year 2003. So for the past 17 years, we have educated as well as we're in partnership at the moment with a lot of our MBA alumni. So a lot of doubts or questions that people are having about the program they have been doubts and questions that also the alumni went through before the program. So that gives us experience and that gives us also the answers to perhaps some questions. So if you're looking, Marcus, for example, he came to the program without even thinking that revenue management is going to be the one that he wanted to go. And he came really to the program and he didn't even know that the Intercontinental is going to be the employer that he is going to work on. It was after the trip in Chicago that we spent some time in the Intercontinental, my land in Chicago, in Michigan Avenue, and then actually he made this really tick between that this is the brand, this is the specialization. Ricardo, he comes from a very, very interesting background. He studied his first degree in Hawaii, and then he came to us as a little bit career changer. And now actually he's in the UK, and I was with a web seminar with him and Mario just a couple of weeks back, and we reflected a little bit about his kind of experience. So every single profile that you see of the students, and I think the next slide also will showcase that in a little bit kind of stronger kind of way, are actually names that you can be able really to approach them on the LinkedIn, establish a communication with an MBA alumni, and really try to sort of have a conversation how the program really helped them. So we have profiles that they are working in hospitality valuation services, in F&B. Alex Roman, she opened up the property, the National Harbor in Washington, D.C. After her MBA, he went to Las Vegas. And then 6 months later, he went to Washington, D.C. to open as a new property of MGM. And she also actually took her own private time to come to see us in Chicago when we visited actually that city with MBA. So with all the profiles, we have actually different aspects of the industry, and pretty much of what we try really to do at the same time that the program is running is really to open up our MBA alumni community and say, okay, if you have an interest about FMB, Esteban can be a good guy to get in touch. Or if you have, again, FFMB, Jay is a great guy that you can be connected and try really to have a conversation. And ultimately, that actually helps the students to be able to identify not a job. I think after an MBA, a job will be found. The question is it a job that you want? Has the program really inspired you enough? Are you getting enough knowledge from our alumni, our study trips, so really for you to be convinced that this is the job that you're aiming for in terms of career progress, financial success, etc. And I think we are very confident that our experience over the last kind of 17 years with MBA students gives us a good platform really to have a lot of different kind of success stories. And you can see in the next slide, Mario, a lot of different other names of our students. Ilario, a GM, Tanus also, he's working at the Hard Rock. So over the years, you can see some of the early alumni of Laja, actually originally from India, raised and born, born in India, raised in Chicago, and she's heading up the booking.com also in Washington, DC. So that's the beautiful thing about our program, is that once we have an alumni, then a Laja that has come actually from one particular year, 2011, with Alex that they came subsequently thereafter, they are working in the hospitality industry in that particular city right now. So ultimately, the careers of the students is an important question to us, and it starts really on a week number 1, okay, of the program. So I will pass it on to Ms. Rao now to share a little bit about what she likes to do after the MBA and where she is thinking that she's heading. Yeah.
And while Sandhya answered the question, let me launch another poll for the audience to let you know where you want to be in 5 years.
Okay, that's a good intervention. Thank you, Mario. So we're asking you actually, where do you see yourselves in the 5 years? Are you manager, senior as well, working within a hotel chain, working within an independent hotel, become an entrepreneur, or actually working in a family business?
Thank you for that question, Dr. D. If I had to go by this poll and really answer where I see myself in 5 years, I think it would be as a senior manager. But as I explained earlier, from my experience with Shanghai and working with, and basically all the knowledge we've got from like digital marketing, I don't know it would be specifically restricted to a hotel chain as such. And I think being in this program has really opened up my mind about where I could be, whether it's working with booking.com as well, because we've understood so much about the importance of online travel agencies over time. So definitely in a management position. My last position before I left from my job in New York was a middle management position, and I'm really hoping that this MBA will take me to the next level and help me get a higher position when it comes to that. As far as my interests are concerned, I was a sales and F&B person, so being in catering sales was something very unique because it's a combination of being able to sell spaces as well as have the catering aspect of it and concerned, which overlaps with the F&B departments. And before coming here, I think one of the things that I wanted to do is make myself stronger on the sales part of it, because I felt quite comfortable with food and beverage. And I really hope that after I graduate from here, I would be able to take it to the next level with sales. So for example, if I chose to work with a corporate chain, I think rather than just selling rooms or, selling venues, I'd like to be as a marketing manager, whether it's loyalty programs as well. I've written in my first semester of MBA, actually, I did 2 of my papers on loyalty programs, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. I don't know if it's because I'm American and we like credit cards and we like points, but that's one area that I would really like to explore in the future.
Excellent. And so very diverse answers. So manager, senior manager, that's the half of our audience. Being an entrepreneur, that's a 36%, and working within a hotel chain. And ultimately, that's actually the question that, although we asked today, this is actually a kind of question we try to ask during the induction of the MBA program, because that's a little bit set the tone of what you like to do really, even before you start the MBA. So subsequently, over the program, we try either to make you feeling stronger that this is a good choice, or actually try to tempt you of other areas and avenues of thinking. And that's a little bit of what we call ourselves the noisy neighbors, that we can be able really to take you a little bit to another area, explore other of companies, see actually if yourself can work together with this type of brands such as Booking, Expedia, Google Travel, etc., etc. So ultimately, this is also as equally important as the qualification, is really the journey of the career discovery, and try really to find at the end of the program, try to apply to those brands that you feel comfortable that this is a great career choice for you. So this is also an important avenue that we are exploring. So to sum up a little bit for today, yes, Mario?
Yes, no, we have to unfortunately wrap up. A lot of people are leaving. Thank you so much for your intervention, Dimitrios, Dr. Diamantis. Thank you, Sandhya. I just need to remind everybody of the upcoming webinars. Tomorrow we have another one on the postgraduate diploma. So for the students that are interested in the PGD program and what you mentioned today, the bridge to the MBA, the fast track program, you can also attend that one. We'll go much more in detail about that opportunity with Dr. Gerning, our program manager for that program. The day after tomorrow, we have something about our newest addition to the program, the Master in Hospitality Strategy and Digital Transformation, a really digitally focused master that we added to our portfolio. And then in June, we have another session on BBA careers and internships, but that's really for a younger audience. I see people are already checking out, they're all going away. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Diamantis. Thank you, Sandhya. As I mentioned in the chat to all of you, don't hesitate to ask questions at marketing@lesroches.edu, and I will direct you to the best source for any really specific question you may have. And lesroches.edu as the general website to find information and download any documents, brochures, catalog, calendars that you may need. Thank you really very much, everybody. Have a good rest of the day, afternoon, evening. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Stay
coming.
safe and enjoy your evening.
And thank you. And please don't hesitate to reach out to any questions that you might have. Thank you and have a good evening. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Wonderful, terrific, wonderful, everybody. Bye.
Bye.